Hey guys, welcome back to the Detour Live. Thanks for joining us and thanks for subscribing. YouTube.com/the Detour Podcast. Joined as always with four-time National Road Champion, and it is confirmed 4 times, not Wikipedia says 3, John Trevorrow, and 3-time green jersey winner. And would you say the best sprinter of the 2000s, Johnny? Robbie McEwen?
Oh, mate, you left out, I think, 4 or 5 times winner of the Bay Crits. Eh?
Oh, yeah, shit, here we go.
Oh, come on, John. Wikipedia says 6.
There you go.
Actually,
There you
Wikipedia, my Wikipedia says all sorts of things. I went and updated it the other day.
Oh,
You wouldn't guess all the stuff I won now.
So now it says ravishing good looks and all this sort of
exactly.
stuff. Yeah.
Male model.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Robbie is the definitely the greatest road sprinter Australia's ever produced. He was even quicker than me, and I know a lot of people
Except for
talking
the
about
buffet.
Caleb.
And the bar.
Yeah, on the track, he was better.
Caleb is the one everyone's telling you is going to be out next, but he's got a long way to go before he reaches Robbie McEwen. So there you go.
Let's just get that sorted before we start dissecting any sort of sprints. Now, Robbie, obviously there was a sprint stage overnight. Iffy, and we jumped on the bandwagon. We predicted Bling to win. I think it was 8 stages of this year's Vuelta. We've come up short. What was your analysis of yesterday's sprint, mate?
Well, it went pretty much to script, really. Fabio Jakobsen, he's out and out the fastest man there. And this is what kids the age of Fabio Jakobsen, they consider this victory pose going old school, channeling Peter Sagan from about 10 years ago. That's now old school, as opposed to, old school used to be something from the 70s or 80s. Now it's only 10 years ago. But he's just out and out the quickest man there. The closest competition was Jasper Philipsen for as long as he was in the race, and he really needed everything to go right to beat Jakobsen, and he did. The first sprint stage, he jagged it, got a really good run up the left-hand side, and Jakobsen, he messed up his positioning a bit on that first sprint, but he hasn't really put a foot wrong since then, except the day that his team dropped him, and that wasn't really him putting a foot wrong. He just wasn't quite as good, quite as fresh, and his team didn't do a very good job of looking after him. But at least they had the lead-out man back up and win the stage. I've got to say from that day, I did, I liked what Jakobsen after the finish, ever competitive, ever the alpha dog in the team in the Vuelta, saying, mate, congratulations, great, but if you don't look around at me, lead-out man.
Yeah. I was going to ask you your opinion on that. Yeah.
Pretty harsh. And,
it's harsh, but it's fair. It's harsh but fair, because they're there. They were there. The plan was to lead him out, but then they're not looking at him. Yeah, they got lucky that they finished it off and still won the stage.
Trentin got it in the middle of them. So, but he was one back from Trentin. So I suppose they thought, he's still fine. But he was obviously cooked that day and set up. But it's a bit harsh cooked,
but they got away with it. They were lucky they got away with it. Because
it turned out to be a beautiful thing, though. I mean, Seneschal is always doing the jobs. He's never won a Grand Tour stage. He leads him out all the time. And, when he crashed in Poland, Florian Seneschal was the first one to him and probably saved his life, because I reckon him grabbing him, because he was the blood was actually choking him, and actually cleared his. But
so I sort of like the fire, and it was instantly after the finish when the adrenaline's still rushing, and you're a bit pissed off. But I'm sure that Fabio would have said to him, and we don't hear all the stuff that gets said, that would have said to him later on as the heart rate goes down, the adrenaline ebbs away, to say, mate, I'm really, really happy for you, and I couldn't wish it to go to a better bloke. But at the time, I like the.
But you're guessing
fire.
Hey? But isn't it? You're only guessing that. You don't know that he said that.
I'm pretty sure.
But isn't the battle? It's almost like you got to be a politician. Like when the cameras are on, give it the whole, hey, yeah, great job, and then on the bus, it's like, listen here, you prick. It's all like how it's projected, because a lot of people don't understand this, and they see it on face value and they go, oh, geez.
Well, sitting in your couch, you don't have the 190 heart rate, and you don't have the 21 millimoles of lactic acid running through your muscles. So it's really hard to put yourself in that position. And it was emotional. It was an emotional reaction. I like the fire that he's got, but I'm sure after he said, like, okay, I wasn't that good. You've got to admit to yourself too, and that takes a while to sink in as well. But outside of that, 3-stage wins, you can't argue with. He's the fastest man in the Vuelta. He's doing a fantastic job, and it's like everybody, the entire peloton was happy for Fabio Jakobsen when he won his first stage. Everyone was patting him on the back because that is just an incredible comeback from where he was about a year ago.
Oh, staggering, really. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll talk about fire. I was going to say, it was good to see UAE try and light it up in those middle parts and cause, some sort of action because, geez, there's nothing worse than those long sprint stages that, nothing really happens, but it gave something to look at in the middle part.
Yeah, that definitely gives it a bit of colour. And if you put yourself in their position, they know that if they're just going to go to the finish, Jakobsen's going to beat them with one leg. So you've got to try something. At least if you can't drop him, try and exhaust him and put him in the position he was a few days before when he couldn't follow the wheel at the finish. And that's what they're aiming for. So you've got to hand it to him for trying because guys like Matteo Trentin and Michael Matthews, they're just not going to beat a Fabio Jakobsen. They're not going to beat a pure sprinter who gets a decent sniff of the finish line. So, they've got to either do things in the crosswinds on small climbs and try and deplete quick step, try and fatigue the sprinter and drop him, make him really fight for it and hopefully he's exhausted at the finish. And otherwise, hope for a harder finish. And the types of finishes we've traditionally seen Michael Matthews win on, they're just not there this year. That 1 kilometre steep ramp to the finish. Yeah. He just has not had a course that's really suited his capabilities. But he's going in, he's trying really hard. He's running, thirds and fourths, but he's not going to win a bunch sprint as long as there's a pure blood sprinter there like Jakobsen.
We've got another regular guest, the voice of cycling, Phil Liggett. Now, Phil, we've only got Robbie for another Phil. 4 minutes. Do you want to fire anything into him straight off the gun?
I'm delighted to see him. You think he'd have a shave when he's speaking to me, wouldn't you? That's like
I didn't know I was on till about 4 minutes ago, Phil, but you know what you're working with there, don't you?
I do indeed, yes. Anyway, how's the commentary going up on the Vuelta? Okay.
Well, it's non-existent for me. Because of the lockdowns and restrictions here in Australia, they're doing the commentary from Melbourne. I can't leave Queensland and go to Melbourne. So it's Keenan and Mackenzie on comms on the Vuelta here in Australia. And I'm just convalescing here in Queensland after 2 weeks ago having an ACL reconstruction.
Oh my goodness!
How is it going? The recovery?
Yeah, it's going okay today. Until I made one little wrong move today and sort of twinged my hamstring a little bit because one of the small hamstring muscles, that's where they harvest a tendon from to rebuild your ACL. So I've still got to take it a little bit easy and not get ahead of myself. But I tend to do that.
We've got a fan question from Peter. He says, was Bling's position at 300 metres out the result of poor homework as there was a few bends?
I find not out of poor homework. I find that he didn't really dare to go shoulder to shoulder when he needed to take the best position. He was right near the front, maybe a bit too far in front, and he was trying to just reverse his way into a good position, but then he just missed the moment to get Jakobsen's wheel. He didn't dare push Trentin, and then he got put out of the wheel by the next man in line and was just too far behind. I think it was not because he didn't know the course. Everybody knows from the book that the course is, just not quite having the cojones, as they say in Spanish, to go shoulder to shoulder and really battle for that position.
Yeah. What sort of on that last bend? I was just going to say on that last bend, you had he was in the perfect spot, and then Jakobsen came underneath with Trenton on the wheel, and he had to go. He went back those 2 spots, and that was the end of it. But I just was hoping, I suppose. I picked Bling last night more out of hope than whatever. But I just hope that. Because there was a chance that Jakobsen had lost a little bit. He was, struggling a little bit in the last sprint that he had lost to his teammate, and that they're all coming back a little bit to Bling. That he might have been able to show a bit, but he's just not as quick as those guys. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're looking back at Bling's sprints, as you said. Is it just a simple case of he doesn't have the speed and he didn't have the courses, or is there anything that he could have done differently to change the results, Robbie?
I just think he doesn't have the speed against those guys, against a Jakobsen, against Jasper Philipsen. He's just not quite as quick in a flat sprint. And, he sort of needs a half a miracle to beat those guys on a flat sprint. He really needs a rising road, something a kilometre to go that keeps going uphill. He really starts to come into his own. He's just not getting the necessary last couple of kilometres, or in particular the last kilometre that really suits him, or a course where maybe a couple of Cat 2s he can get rid of everybody else and then out sprint the rest. But that's also a difficult one, because it comes to a point where then he starts to get fatigued and there's someone else who'll beat him at the finish. So it's a really difficult one for a rider like him to win in Grand Tours. You've got to get the finish that's just right.
Does that make it even more difficult for Bling and, the mental approach, given that they've gone all chips in for him, the stages haven't suited him, they know he's not quick, but they're putting so much work into these sprint finals when really it's like, well, geez, there's no one else really at this stage to pick up the load.
Well, that's the thing. What else are they going to do? I mean, you've got to keep going with what is your best chance on a day-to-day basis. And maybe that miracle will come. Maybe you'll get a day where a Jakobsen has another bad one and can't follow the wheel. And then he might be just quick enough to beat a Matteo Trentin and whoever else is left in the race now, like Jordi Moose. And that's what they've got to rely on. So you can't give up in a Grand Tour and say, oh, okay, we're not quite quick enough, so we're not going to try anymore. You've got to keep banging your head against the brick wall, because you might just loosen a brick.
I've got a comment for you before we let you go. Yeah. Andy says, hi, guys. Great to see Robbie. My son, Robbie, will be back in Robbie's Belgian hometown of Brakel, competing in the Umlaut Het Nieuwsblad under-23 on Sunday.
Oh, nice one. Well, any advice for him, Andy, is fight hard to be in position when you come to those really skinny roads and come to the foot of the climb. It's all about position in those races, and pick out the guys. Look at old results, see who won it last year, see the guys who are in form and winning those types of races, identify them and just stick to them. That's the best tactic if you don't know your way around.
And going on what you said earlier, if your teammates don't do their job, rip them a new one at the finish. Don't hold back that passion.
Yeah, that's all. You told me that. I mean, you've always blamed people for your mistakes, and look where it's got you.
That's right. Yeah. Well played. Anytime you throw mud at the old Teflon, she just bounces off. Oh, yeah, well played. Anything before we let Robbie go?
Yeah, just on going back to Bling, because he really has given his all on this Vuelta, and it's all done and dusted now. Unless he gets in a break on the penultimate day, is a day, maybe, but I can't see it happening. I think Nick Schultz is the rider in their team who's got the best form now to maybe win a stage from a break over the next few days. But to get you, Robbie's done. He did two really good rides. The stage he finished third behind Jakobsen and Philipsen. They just Luca delivered him perfectly, and he was right there. They beat him, but he gave it. He was within the length, and he hasn't been able to reproduce that. But I thought his best stage was the one that Magnus Court won up that big climb, and he had to head out early because he knew they weren't going to catch Magnus. He wasn't riding for second. It was too hard for him, really, but he gave it his all. I thought it was one of his best ever rides. So
I got to agree. I thought that was a really good ride. That was a brave ride that day. It was just maybe out of his scope, but I thought it was a really brave ride, and I thought he did really well. The one I thought he was going to win was the other stage that Magnus Court won. But he just, I think on that day, Bling just looked a little bit cooked. And Magnus Court, I mean, the day before they just caught him on the last steep climb, and he came out the next day and then he won. He's going incredibly. I mean, it's pretty hard to contend with a guy who's in the form of his life. But that's the day I thought Bling was going to win, but he had a third. He's riding really well. Don't get me wrong. I think he's doing really well. He's taking the opportunities, but he's just getting beaten on, flat finishes that are just in the favour of the more pure sprinters.
Will Wizard reckons that you've said it was his last chance. He said stage 19 suits Bling, which is this one. He said it's got Amstel Gold. Yeah. All right.
The break will win by 12 minutes or something like that, as they often do. I tell you what, just the other thing away from sprinting, I'm hoping that somehow Odd Christian Eichen can win the Vuelta.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for Intermarché team that have got a flogging throughout the year, both on the road and in the press, that they're leading the Vuelta. I mean, they've had good results. They won a stage in the Giro with Van der Horn, and now they're leading the Vuelta as the smallest of the World Tour teams. It's unlikely he's going to hang on. They're going to go ballistic in these last few days. But just imagine if he did. That'd be so cool.
I just can't wait for the headline with his name. They'll come up with something genius.
Viking the Viking. It'll
That's
be.
what I thought, John. Yes.
An odd winner.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
All right, Robbie,
I
we've got to
can
let
do
you go, mate. We've got to let you go. You've got to do a pick-up.
Yep, I'm going to pick up one of my daughters from dancing class. So jump in the car and play in taxi. It's great fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, don't
Look after
run,
yourself.
Robbie.
Go,
Don't run.
Robbie.
No, I'm going to take
Ah.
the lift. I'm going to take the elevator downstairs to the car.
Watch the hamstring, mate.
Hey, good luck, Rob.
Hey,
Come on.
Thanks, guys. Nice to see you, Phil. Hope,
You
hope
too,
we
mate.
can see you face-to-face very soon.
Oh, boy, I can't see it next year myself. So
No, who
life
knows?
is not
Yeah.
good. Life is not good. Yeah.
No,
Get you back for the
crystal,
bakery
crystal
shop.
ball within 18 months.
I hope
That's
so.
right.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there.
all
I'm going to the tour next year, no matter what. I'm there.
Yeah, me too. I'm doing it too. I'm just going. If I even have to go in a rowboat.
I'll come.
Already.
Why not? All right. See you, Robbie.
All right.
Thanks for being on
guys.
Detour, mate.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, mate.
Hey, mate.
Cheers.
Robbie McEwen, absolute
nice.
legend, great commentator, super rider. Phil, how was your experience? Were you in Slovakia for the triathlon?
Well, I paid excess baggage on the paperwork, but apart from that, it all went very smoothly in the job. I really liked it. I met the great triathletes, the Eddie Merckxes, if you like, of triathlon, who I used to commentate on 27 years ago. And the very first guy I met when I walked into the hotel, which is the Olympic complex just outside of Šamorín in Slovakia, by Bratislava, was Mark Allen. Mark Allen was the Eddie Merckx, and he's always been called the GOAT, the greatest of all time. And we just hugged. The rules were do not hug, but it was automatic. I'm afraid Mark and I haven't seen each other for 27 years. To give you some idea of his ability, he won the Nice Triathlon 10 years straight. Nobody got near him. He got 6 world championships in the Ironman races, and he was very special. He ran down one of the greatest runners in the sport too, pulled him back 10 minutes on the bike. That's the sort of guy. 10 minutes lost on the bike, he pulled back in the run, in a way. So it was great to meet him. He was managing the Team US, and there's a lot more people I met too. And guess what? They all knew about cycling and me. They follow the sport avidly. They're just great triathletes, a sport which in my day didn't even exist, of course. Yes.
Now
But,
you did mention that there was about 10 commentators, and there was going to be a battle to get a word in. How did you go?
That was a fight. In fact, there was 7 in the end, and 2 front people, and actually 3. We had 2 groups of 3, and we kept mishmashing them. But everybody except me were absolute experts, and 1, 2, 3, 4 of them were ex-world champions or current world champion triathletes. So I had real talent with me, and I was talking to them all the time to explain the sport, and I anchored it, and it went well. I think 3 commentators on any job is too much, but there will be changes next year, I guess. But the event itself went so well. Very interesting concept. There was no real crowds there except the relations and friends of the athletes. But the difficulty was getting in, going to London and getting all the tests before we could even fly. They had to arrange special tests in Šamorín for us 2 days before we flew home again. Yesterday I was in London getting the test after landing again. They've all come up negative, of course, and nothing $500 doesn't cure. But apart from that, and that's to a green country, so it would be impossible for me to get to Australia, and vice versa, of course. And funnily enough, Belgium, which is only 150 kilometers from where I'm sat right now, that sees England as a red zone. So if I went there, we have to go into quarantine. And I've invited there next week I have a foundation in South Africa they're called Pro Touch for the young cyclists growing up. They'll be based in Europe all year. They have spent, and believe this, they have spent $10,000 on COVID testing just to travel around Europe. And that is of a foundation which lives on donations. That is ridiculous after I've spent all that money. And of course, everyone's been negative. But I can't get to Belgium without going in quarantine. I was going next week to give them a tour and show them some films, but not on. But I might get on by Zoom if I'm lucky. And that's Belgium.
Well, when you said you couldn't hug that bloke, you should have said, mate, I paid $100 for this negative test. Get in here.
Exactly that. Yeah. I just said, come here, Mark. Sod the laws. We're clean. We've all got negative tests. Let's get stuck in. Oh, yeah.
So who won the Slovakian World?
Well, Europe won the team, but they were red hot. I mean, they had the top ranked riders. There you go. I never said it on telly. I just said it now. They had the top ranked athletes, and they number one in the world. Funnily enough, the number one in the world, a girl called Daniela Rief from Switzerland. She was sick on the day and finished last of her group, which was all the groups are 3 strong. 3 men, 3 women, 3 men, 2 women. And the teams, they get points for their position, which go in a hat. So on points, Europe won. Brand new concept, never been done before. $1.5 million was split amongst all the athletes. Quite amazing.
Well, the Will Wizards fired in. He said, I saw the try that Phil was commentating on. Very good commentary, but terrible format. Shots fired.
Well, it's a new format, but the athletes like it. And I guess that's a good one. They welcomed it. And they're the height of the season at the moment. They split straight away. There's an Ironman coming up in the Netherlands. There's another one in Germany at Roth. There's a lot of action for them just at the moment. But most of them are American or New Zealand or Australian. And there's one Australian girl, my co-commentator, Belinda Granger. She's about to go back to Australia. It's going to be her 3rd session in a hotel for 2 weeks before she gets out into the open world again. A 3rd session this year because she has to be here. There's no sport for her over there.
Jay La says, if Bling has said he doesn't like the bustle of sprinting, do you think in terms of a mentality, right, you've got to go into it just accepting it for what it is and almost get sort of fired up when you have that sort of constant negative, like, I don't like this or whatever. That's not a good thing. That's something that probably needs to be worked on.
It's not a good thing, but you can't change it. He doesn't like. He actually hates it. But I'll tell you what. This is why you got to take your hat off to Bling. He still does it. He gets in there and sprints, gets right in that mix, hating every second of it. Whereas most sprinters are loving every second of it. So it's a tough gig. I don't know how you can change that. I don't know. Maybe it's like with the fear of snakes. You got to introduce them with the snake or something. I don't know how they fix it, but because I think it's in your DNA. I mean, I loved it. I loved the mix of the road sprinting and getting in and elbowing. Just thrived on it. But others, non-sprinters, would look at you doing and say, "How do you do that?" But
yeah, you're mad. You're mad.
I'm surprised he hasn't won the stage so far, but he's got himself in the positions and he gets out of position. His team aren't really good enough for him. Let's be honest. The De Koning team, when they're working for Cavendish or somebody, they're always in the right position. But yesterday, Jakobsen was outmaneuvered. He had a teammate shoot off the front of the peloton by a few lengths, but he wasn't in position, and they all came back together. So he had to do it by himself yesterday, basically towards the finish. Matthews himself was always in a position, but I think, as Robbie said, he's not quite quick enough on those sort of finishes to match Jakobsen. And in fairness, nobody is in this Giro.
No, he's the quickest here. But I thought Luca Mezgec has actually done a very good job for.
He's always done the last job for him. He has, and they gel.
And sometimes they've made him hit the front of fraction too early. But the days that he's managed to get into position and get Bling on the wheel, because he's quite quick himself. He's very, very smart sprinter. So I think
he's good.
He's the right man. Just need a couple of other things to cards to fall the right way, which they haven't done.
Well, he's tried hard. He's tried hard all year, Matthews, and it hasn't quite come good for him. But he mustn't give up hope or lose faith, because all of a sudden he'll click, as we'll find.
I've sent the podcast fishing rod out to Neil Stevens. He's come back and said, "Nah, sorry, mate, we're in the bus, can't do it." And Julian Dean, he's just arrived at the start, so we might be able to chat with Jules on the ground at the start. We've got another comment from Andy Matthews. He says, "Dan, you might also congratulate friend of the D2, Amanda Spratt, on her getting married in Denmark yesterday. Can you put an Instagram post on the screen?" Andy, of course I can. I've got some bloody skills, mate. Don't worry about that. And here's the post. That's Spratty. Married yesterday. Fantastic. Congratulations to Spratty.
Congratulations. Fantastic.
In Denmark.
Yeah.
Where the tour starts next year.
Exactly.
Does it?
Yeah.
Well, you better start doing your research, Iffy, because just mentioning that you're going to be at the tour next year I think there's been a few people. Here we go. Chris Peters. Let's all go to the tour next year on Iffy's tours.
Yeah,
How many going to be credited for the Geelong Advertiser in 2022?
Dozens or so.
Yeah. Maybe we do the silent auction. We do another silent auction for Kareka and just bid off roles on the Tour de France.
Okay.
So, Will Wizard also says, guys, don't go too long today. We're getting the Vuelta start in an hour. Not a problem.
Oh, wow.
Very true. Very true.
It's short and sharp.
Earlier on. Yep.
So we're going to call a drinks break, lads, with a message from Bike Exchange and the Amy Gillett Foundation, voiced by Phil Liggett.
Look at this bike. You think it's just a bike, right? But it's not. It's a bike 374 people are looking at. This guy, this girl, them, all looking at it. People from here, there, and wherever this is. People that are looking for a bike. Or just a piece of it. Amateurs, semi-amateurs, and pro-amateurs. This guy wants this bike, but with this crank and these bars. This could be the perfect match. But not this one. This girl has a bike to sell, and thousands of people might purchase it. Eyes on Bikes help grow small businesses. His, hers, yours, and the latest data and insights help those businesses keep moving. We are the world's #1 bike marketplace, with over 500,000 products and 900 brands, where buyers and sellers are brought together in a place where a bike is never just a bike. Bike Exchange, where the world buys, sells, learns, and rides.
Life is like a two-way street. It's about consideration and mutual respect. Roads are much the same. However you get around, walk, ride or drive, if we share our roads, we can all be safer. The Amy Gillett Foundation is Australia's peak cycling safety charity. Our mission is for safe cycling in Australia. Our vision is for zero cyclist deaths. Over the last year, we've seen an enormous increase in people taking up cycling, whether it be for recreation, with the family, commuting, or even to start your own cycling career. We need to do more to make it safer for every cyclist. 20 cyclists every day are hospitalised, and 1 cyclist is killed every 10 days on Australian roads. So, the next time you jump on your bike or hop in your car, remember to practice the 4 C's. Be courteous, calm, considerate, and conscientious. Every cyclist death is preventable, and we all deserve to get home safely. Please donate to help the Amy Gillett Foundation make the roads safer for you and for me.
Thanks again to Bike Exchange and some great messages there. I love when it comes back from a break. If he's always on his phone, he's like this big shock. You know when it's going to finish, mate. I just got to listen. And yeah, some great messages there from the Amy Gillett Foundation and beautifully voiced by the voice of cycling, Phil Liggett. Fellas, we always said these are going to be the next massive stages that will define this Tour of Spain, stage 17 and 18. Looking into your crystal ball, unfortunately, Michael Matthews will not win this one, Iffy. How do you see it panning out?
I think there'll be 2 races today. There'll be a race for GC and a race for the stage, and it could very well come together on the last climb. I would be really, really disappointed if there's not an absolute, serious challenge on that third climb on the second. So the Cap 1, they climb it. They do a loop. They climb it twice. And then the second time up it, there's a bonus sprint. If there's not a serious attack from Movistar, Ineos, and also from Bahrain Victorious, then they're just going to hand this race to Roglic, because it just going hard isn't enough. They've got to start making some moves, putting riders up the road. Movistar have got 2 serious threats. Yeah. And I cannot see Eiking the Viking or Martin being still in those positions by the end of this day. This day really has to be all on. And we've got 2 of them in a row. So it's going to be.
Yeah, and this is
It's
stage 18,
fireworks.
as you're saying,
Yeah.
and that final climb tomorrow looks absolutely filthy.
It is a
So-
monster of a thing. Yeah. So steep. It's got ramps of 20% on that one. So tonight's climb, that was thought of for many years to be the toughest climb in Spanish cycling, but tomorrow's has now gone past it. But it's also a brutal day. Yeah,
The Lagos de Covadonga. Is that how you pronounce it?
that'll do.
Well, yeah. No, it's a vicious climb. The guys will be almost a standstill on that climb. It's a huge test for Aikin the Viking, that's for sure. But he's not thinking of winning the Tour. He's the first to tell you that. He's held the red jersey for a week, which was never anticipated. It's fabulous. As Robbie said, his team Intermarché, having given them a rip apart for their performances in the Tour de France, they've landed the big one in the Vuelta. And I think that he's going to be thinking of a podium. And that could be, we'll know by the end of this day if he's going to be in with the podium, I think.
I don't believe he can. I don't believe he can. I really
in theory,
don't.
no.
I hope he can.
If his last name was Matthews, you would.
The good thing about this Vuelta is breakaways have succeeded day in, day out. Made it, otherwise, it would have been a very boring race, I have to tell you.
Yeah.
But with the breakaways slipping away, it's been pretty good to watch.
Well, given how hard the next day is, will there be a part of any plans where it's like, you know what, I still got to be thinking about tomorrow, because if I go in the red on this one tomorrow, I'm gone, or you just got to go all out, depending on what position you're in.
I'm sure Roglic will be thinking that way. He's going to be, he's got to get through these 2 days. So this bike race is not over. I mean, Roglic is definitely the red hot favourite, but the slightest crack appears, they'll be on it.
Yeah.
So look, they need these 2 hard days. I mean, the biggest challenge you would think is going to come from Movistar.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, and I think Lopez and Mas, they're both class. They have to not just go hard. They have to see one has to go, and then the other one has to go over top. And with Roglic having to close down, they need to do it today. And then if it doesn't work, then again tomorrow. If they leave it till tomorrow, it's going to be too late.
I don't see the foregone conclusion for Roglic at all. He rides his same tactics every day, usually strength on the last climb of the day, waits until then. So I think it was John or Robbie said, you've got to get the moves going earlier on. John said it. And Enrique Mas every day is becoming more and more confident. He's had an iffy few months, and he's not been the man who was promised a couple of years ago. But I think in this Tour, he, to me, is looking like a possible winner here. And
okay, I'll give you the scenario. So you get on the bus, you're Neil Stevens, and you say to Jack Haig, how are you feeling? He goes, mate, I feel really, really good. Do you just follow wheels on today's stage and then use that tomorrow? Or do you show your cards and show some aggression, particularly on that final climb? Are you going to be racing for third, or are you going to be racing just to go all out?
I think the smart thing for Jack Haig would be to race for the podium. And to do that, he needs one of the Movistar guys to have to put it for the other and drop out. So I think Lopez will be the one. And he's just got to be smart and just stay with Roglic. If he just stayed with Roglic and just lets him let Jumbo-Visma do all the closing, that would be smart. Look, if he's trying to win it, but I don't believe he can win it. He can get on the podium, and that would be the smart way to do it, because it's a monster. He's going in. He's in uncharted territories for himself, rarefied air, as I wrote in my column today for Jack. And he's got to be smart. And the best way, I believe, for him to be on the podium is to conserve and follow Roglic.
We've got a couple of more comments. Chris Peter says, I'll be the pilot for Geelong Addy. Sign me up, Iffy. Samantha says, it's official. Rowan Dennis signs a 2-year contract with Jumbo-Visma. That was pretty much locked that in a couple of weeks ago, but now it's official. Troy Collett goes, ask Phil of his impressions of Jay Vine.
You better tell me who Jay Vine is first.
He's the guy who won the Zwift Academy, and he's been super in the Vuelta so far. A lot of the stuff he's done.
While you were away, while you were in Slovakia, you would have missed it. There was a stage about 3 days. So he actually almost won one of the flat stages. He was the reason that Bling and the Bike Exchange team had to chase. They only caught him 400 metres to go. So he's a young Aussie who won the Zwift competition, and his first race was the Tour of Turkey.
Yeah,
and he only met the riders the day before, and he rode brilliantly and ran second in that. He's in this Grand Tour. The other day, the day that Bardet won, he finished third, but he crashed at 70 kilometres an hour earlier in the stage, trying to get a bid from his team car. Somehow got tangled up. Down he went, got off, skin off everywhere, bleeding, caught the brake again as it was splittering, went through them and finished third in the stage. Absolutely sensational.
So now you've heard all that, Phil. What do you reckon?
Well, I reckon he's got a future. I mean, thanks for that. I was watching it when I could, but I never saw hardly any finishes, but I saw it out on the highway. And it was in German, the commentary, so I don't speak to them, but I could read the pictures. Yeah, well, I think we've got the answers there. We've got a kid that's the Aussies need right now to just get back. Yeah.
Gary Tilley, Bardet could be a good thing for tonight's stage. I think that's a great tip, Johnny.
He looked for a breakaway, I reckon.
Anyone from DSM, I'd say Bardet or Chris Hamilton, who finished third the other day, he'll be in there. But more even likely, Michael Storer, who's already got 2 stages. He's a chance. They're the type of guys who could win today. It's going to be interesting because I think that break will go, but there's going to be a lot of pressure going on from behind. And it could all come back together. It could be one of the GC guys who takes the stage as well. So I'm not going to miss tonight. It's going to be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I can't wait. Will Wizard says, question for Phil. Tour of Britain starts next Sunday. Will riders have to quarantine before?
No, because it depends where they're coming from, of course. But no, I don't think the Europeans will be welcome over here. As long as they get their pre-jabs and they fill out their health locators, etc. They'll be checked during the race for sure, and they'll have to get injections before they leave anyway. Not injections, tests to go back to the continent. But no, we are. If they're coming from Belgium, that's an amber country, which means that they do have to quarantine at home. So actually, it's a good question. I don't know. It depends.
Just on a side topic, what was making big news from the UK? Breaking news, I think it was the lead story. You guys have run out of milkshakes at McDonald's and chicken at KFC because the trucks aren't getting in.
Will you have any more good news to tell me?
Hey, you'd be a big fan of the old Macca's milkshake, wouldn't you, Phil? How are you getting through?
I last went in to a McDonald's in 1987 or 8.
Really?
When I was with the great speed skater Eric Hayden, who I was working with on CBS, I think it was, and we were traveling across Europe, and we're in Austria, and he saw the motorway was flying high, and he saw the McDonald's sign below. He said, "Hey man, we've got to get off the next ramp. Let's got to go down and get a McDonald's. Let's get normal." So we did. We left the auto route. We went and found that McDonald's, and those boys went in. I didn't go in with them, but that was the last time I was near to a McDonald's.
Well, that's why you look so fresh, mate. That's the secret. Don't get sucked into the golden hours.
I'd almost forgotten that one, I must say.
Now, Warwick says, question for Phil. Where or when can we watch a documentary about yourself?
Gosh, Warwick, I wish I knew the answer. I'm getting a little bit annoyed about the fact that it can't be distributed away from Australia just now. Nothing to do with COVID, except that the cinemas here in the UK, we had to cancel the launch, which was set for a nice premiere in London, got blown out by the Odeon cinema chain. I hope it comes back. Americans are asking me the same question. So I'm a little bit disappointed. And the triathletes wanted to see it when I was in Slovakia. Well, I got a little link on my computer and I did send it to them when they had nothing to do. They could all watch it in the rooms. on the computer, but I'm not supposed to do that. But yeah, everybody wants to do it, and it is a great film. I'm not saying that because it's about me. It's about.
I've been lucky enough to see it, Phil, and it is an absolutely sensational movie.
It's tearjerker too.
But the good thing is it's timeless, so it won't matter if the release is delayed. Like people will still enjoy it.
The film's timeless, Dan, but I'm not.
No, let's get moving. But you aren't eating Macca's, so geez, you've got plenty of good years left.
Well, we'll get Nick. Nick Bird actually is a detour follower.
Yes.
Is he?
We'll get Nick on, and we'll pair him up with you.
He's had a birthday as well. Nick is a fantastic guy, and he made a great film along with his partner Eleanor. And
I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy that I made the credits, but I was in the cutting room floor. I never made the movie.
But when it's all been out and about, they're going to take those cutting room floor and they're going to make an even longer film for use in your own home, sort of thing. It got trimmed out because for distribution to the cinemas, it became more like a James Bond epic than
I know why John got killed, because every answer would have been, I first met Phil at the Bay Crits, and back at the Bay Crits. He said, mate.
Because I don't know what you said, John, because I wasn't there when the interviews took place, so I'm anxious to see
it was he had all the questions lined up, but we did it at just before you were over there, I think. Just before in the print. No, it was in the print at the Prince. We had a function at the Prince, and we did it upstairs.
Yes.
The roast,
right.
Phil Liggett roast.
That's right. And there was something going on.
I didn't know it wasn't a roast.
Something going on in the background. And Nick is such a, he's a bit like you with the sound. He is so pedantic on the sound. And because they were doing this interview with some girl in the background or something else, and he kept telling them, please, can you go away, be quiet? They wouldn't. And so in the end, he just wasn't good.
That would be Nick. Nick is a perfectionist, but he's a great character.
Anyway, we'll ask Nick, what's the situation for people in Australia to be able to see the Voice of Cycling movie?
Please do. It's been all over Australia, and I've had some great comments from around. Port Macquarie, for example, which was the first town I remember when I came over to Australia in 1988. And they put a special showing on in the theatre in Port Macquarie, and people wrote to me from the theatre saying how much they enjoyed it. And my reply was, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Have you still got the whales out there jumping? Because that's where I got my first ever whale in Port Macquarie in 1988. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, if people want an update for the silent auction, thanks to Miller Resorts, have you got your script ready?
I have. I can dig that out quite quickly.
No, I tell you, this boy's organised now.
You watch this.
Discover a tropical playground of powdered sugar sand, lush jungle, and crystalline waters. Amila Maldives luxury resort reeks of timeless style and endless bliss. Stand by for unexpected treats and indulgences. Delighting and surprising you is their hallmark. Amila's motto is to exceed your expectations. The sky is the limit.
That's brilliant, John. I just retired.
Well, he's only had 18 days to fix it or get it sharp.
No, that's lovely. And since in the last week we've been talking with Justin, who owns the resort, and such a nice guy, and he's not going to leave it here. He's so into the wildlife of the world, and thanks to you guys who are watching the show and helping out, Justin's going to do more things too.
And so that's obviously to raise money for the Koreka Foundation, kariega.co.za/Peloton. And it's 5 nights accommodation, Villa Oceanfront Resort for 2 adults, 2 children, and breakfast and dinner. And Jason and the team will look after you. That's
fantastic.
That is for
At
sure.
this stage, it is still 5,250, I think it was what I said last time. And there are a couple of people who have been asking me for more information, so I reckon there's going to be another offer coming in the next day or so. But
remember, if you're looking for a bargain, I mean, don't worry about the good course. This is a bargain. 13,500, And with
it's
the
just another
vaccination passports and things opening up, you will get there by mid
Yeah.
to end next year for sure.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think we should, if you've got it handy, I'd love to
Yes,
see.
I was just
the
about to play Phil's promo for his ride. So sit back
Oh,
and enjoy.
well, let me
mate.
tell you, just before you do the ride, let me tell you, my driver who took me to the airport for Slovakia and brought me back, because I've known him for a while. When he brought me the bill yesterday for the 2 taxi runs to the airport, and he said, I want to give you £70 of the bill for Careca. I said, how the heck do you know about Careca? He said, well, I'm always talking about it. No, he's not a cycling guy. He doesn't have detail. But in fact, he's so untechnical, he hasn't even got WhatsApp. But anyway. And by the way, John, you'd have committed suicide because I left my phone in London on the kitchen shelf on the charge and went to Slovakia. I was desperate for 2 days. Couldn't speak to anybody. However,
I would have.
Podcast fishing. Trisha, how are you? And we've got Julian Dean live.
I've been seeing
Through a spin.
That's the only way we can stop him talking. Put a gag on him. Anyway, Sean has given us 70 quid, 140 bucks this land.
Good on
Lovely.
you.
How are you, Julian?
Good. How are we going there?
Good, very good. Where are you now?
We're in Asturias. Got Lagos de Covadonga today, one of the most iconic climbs in the Vuelta a España, in the history of the Vuelta a España. So the beautiful Asturias region, and it's beautiful up here. A little bit cooler than what we've had in the first 2 weeks. So there's a lot of people very happy about that.
Well, it looks like the internet's crisper as well, mate. You're looking sharp.
Ah, mate. I had it shaved, mate. See? We're ready to go.
Oh, nice.
Oh, look at that.
Arrow.
Crisp and ready. Yep.
That's it.
I just, I felt for Bling last night. He, probably his last chance for a stage win, and the team got him right up the front. But in the end, Jacobson is just that bit too quick for him. But he's tried so hard through this whole Vuelta. He's really put it on the line, and it's been a great effort.
Yeah, it has. There's a lot of pressure at the moment. There's a lot of pressure on. We can't seem to buy ourselves a win at the moment in Bike Exchange team. But we try every day. So many of these stages, even when they're not being ideally suited to Bling, we've been putting it all on the line. The boys have been putting it on the line, and we just can't seem to get it quite right at the moment. So it's been really, really testing, really, really trying, and sort of as a leader of the team, it's been when we won in 2018 with Simon Yates, that was easy compared to what we're sort of going through now. But that's sport, and you've got to, I believe in positive leadership, and I've got to back these guys in every day, and I'm keeping doing that, and they're throwing everything at it.
Well, we've got a comment. Samantha says, Julian, please tell the boys they're doing an awesome job. It must be, comforting knowing that people still do recognise that, they are having a crack. They are putting him in position. And if you focus, I suppose, as you're talking about, on the process, these processes and keeping that positive energy, that's only going to be a good thing moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. And, we put a lot into every stage that we do, a lot of analysis, a lot of work goes into it from everyone. And, we've got some good relationships going in the team with Luka Mezgic and Michael Matthews. And, yesterday, we saw GC guys, or Lucas Hamilton's been a little bit off the boil here, but he's helping out in the team, and he committed to that sprint yesterday, did a good job. So we just got to keep trying. We have to keep putting the effort in and keep working, and that's what we're doing.
Now, over the next couple of days, I reckon your best chance for a stage is going to come through Nick Schultz. I think he looked very strong the other day. He was in that break. These next two are monster days, but it could very well be a breakaway that gets up the road, and he needs to be in it. But stage 19 is probably even a better chance, but he's got to get in the moves.
Yeah, it's all about the breakaways the next few days for us, for sure. We don't, with Mikel Neve having that crash early, he lost his GC possibilities. So for all our guys, Schultze as well, he's riding good. He's had a fantastic year. And definitely, if you look at the history of Lagos de Covadonga, it's been won by some pure climbers. But there's also been some history on Covadonga of some of the non-favourites nabbing that stage as well from breakaways. So that's our objective today.
Chade says, the character of a team shows true when things are tough. Do you believe that, Jules?
Yeah, well, always, but it's hard. We're trying to identify where we're going wrong, what we're missing, and we're certainly missing something. There's no doubt about that. There's been a lot of discussion on all levels of this team about how we can be doing things different, and we'll come out of this Vuelta, and that process will continue until we can try and resolve it.
Someone made a comment earlier asking if Matthews would potentially leave earlier to focus on things like the Worlds and that. Is that part of the plan at all?
No, it's not. We're focusing now on day by day. We've got this day in front of us, and Michael's committed to the team and doing what's best for the team. Yeah,
for sure. Anything else, Iffy?
No. I think Michael is a big chance for the World Championships coming up in a few weeks, and it's proven that the ones who normally go well in the Worlds have gone well in the Vuelta and finished the Vuelta. So I don't think you get much advantage by pulling out with 2 days to go. So I think
we've got it. There's an extra week this year between Vuelta and Worlds, so there's plenty of time more time than it traditionally has been to get ready for World Championships.
But also, the team's done so much work for Bling. I mean, for him to leave early, it's almost a good gesture for him to see it out as well. I mean, if you bust your ass for someone and then he takes off with 3 or 4 days to go, I mean, there's those factors as well. Well, that's if I was running the show, Jules. I'd say, listen, mate, they've all busted their ass for you. You can stay till the bloody end.
Yeah, that's a very valid point, Jonesy. Very valid point.
Before I let you go, mate, I've always loved this topic. What's the food like in the region? Any specialities?
Oh, yesterday we were up in Santander, and this whole northern Atlantic area of Spain is well known for its seafood and what they call them, mariscos or shellfish and that up here, and that's what.
Not those pippies that Neil made us eat that night. Remember those ones that you scraped off a barnacle and said it was a delicacy?
Well, what about the time you got served up stingray, Jonesy?
Oh, no. We don't want to talk about that. I've never recovered from that. I went green. That was shocking.
It's just like flake.
It's shocking.
Beautiful.
It's shocking.
Oh, you don't know what you're missing.
No, mate. No.
Oh,
and especially after what happened with the crocodile hunter, no chance. So, forget it.
No, I'm with you, Jonesy. Stingrays are the best left in the water.
That's right, mate. I wish you all the best for today's stage, mate, and hopefully keep doing what you're doing, keep the energy high and positivity, and these lessons that you're going to pull out of this period is just going to be beneficial, particularly for the younger riders coming through that are still learning the craft.
Yeah, hopefully, and we'll keep going.
Have a word to Bling for us, because we'd love to have a chat with him when he gets some downtime. It'd be great.
I like how we always talk about admin live on the show. It's not like a text message. It's like, yeah. All right. Well, all the best for today, Jules. We appreciate you coming on the detour, mate.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good evening. See you.
Good on you, mate.
Yeah, all the best, you.
Bike Exchange DS, Julian Dean. Now it's time, before we wrap things up, to show a fantastic promo for Careca and Phil Liggett's Peloton.
Hi everyone, it's Phil Liggett here, and it's time to get my African safari on the road again. We're heading back to the Careca Game Reserve in the Eastern Cape of South Africa, where animals including the rhino roam freely. We did 4 great rides in June, and now with 2 new ones we're set to go again. There will be eminent guests to answer your questions on the wildlife and also offer an opportunity to win amazing trips to Careca. We'll chat to one another and you don't even have to ride thanks to Full Gas, who will set you up to watch on Zoom when you enroll and make a donation. We have 4 rides, 1 per month, starting on September 19. They last an hour, and if you have a smart trainer, you can pedal your way through the reserve, or you can just sit back with a cup of tea. In either case, knowing that your participation is helping keep the animals safe and free to roam. Come and join me, and all the information you need to have is at careca.co.za/peloton, and let's go.
Great stuff. Get involved. Final predictions for the stage, fellas. I'm going to go with Bardet. I'm going to steal the pick. Who do you think, Johnny?
I've got a feeling that it will be the GC boys, and I just am going to go with Roglic.
Yep. And Phil?
I'll go with Mass. I think they'll climb together, but you never know. I'll go with Mass just to be different, but Roglic has got his show today. See how strong he really is.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps a pretty big show, fellas. Thanks for being on, Phil, and keep supporting the Careca Foundation.
You don't look a week older since I last spoke to you. You look fantastic.
Patricia. Howdy.
Hi, Trish.
And
back to normal.
It's all good.
all good. No dramas.
Yeah, all great.
We're about 4 minutes just before they go live, so you should be thanking us. We're wizard. We were thinking of you, mate. So we'll be back again tomorrow night. Now, tomorrow night, Johnny, we've got George Bennett on, and we're going to go live an hour earlier. So we're going to be live at 5:30 p.m., not 6:30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good job we told, John.
Well, you told me, John. I said we can pre-record. Now let's just go live. Now you're going, oh, really? You were the one that bloody suggested it. Jeez, mate, just stick to the
I can't remember what happened this morning, then like yesterday, mate. Come on.
So 5:30 p.m. tomorrow. We'll put it in our socials. Keep supporting the channel.
Just a quick one. I'd just like to
podcast.
Just like to congratulate the Aussie Paralympians yesterday in the time trial, because we had Paige Greco, who got a bronze in the C3, Carol Cook, a good mate of mine, a silver in the T2, Alistair Donahue, who got a bronze in the C5, Emily Petrocola, and Meg Lemon, who got silver and bronze in the C4, and Darren Hicks, who had a great gold in
Superstar.
C2. In C2, So just like to congratulate them on their fantastic performances yesterday.
Yeah.
Good stuff, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see you guys tomorrow live at 5:30 with George Bennett. So get your questions ready. He's got pretty thick skin, so you can wind him up. Looking forward to it. See you tomorrow at 5:30. Thanks, Phil. See you guys.
All the best. Great to see you guys.
This is the winning